Hey everyone, this is the EIG podcast, and the goal of this podcast is to interview and to learn a lot about different business owners in Detroit, different business professionals in Detroit, Metro Detroit in Michigan, how you can grow your business, or if you're an individual, what you need to look out for when it comes to either being an entrepreneur or just doing life. So thank you for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. And let's get started with the show today. First of all, as you know, I got my coffee, which is awesome. Right over there off camera, we have the Keurig machine. And we're in a brand new office space. Since the last time that I posted a video, a lot has happened in the past year. And I wanted just to take 20 minutes to let everybody know kind of what's been going on. For the new people, I'm going to let you kind of know my quick backstory when it comes to business, being an entrepreneur, what that means, what I do, and then hopefully, if we're lucky, kind of tell you what we're planning to do with this here podcast. So, let's jump in. For those that are new, I started doing business back in 2018. Graduated college in 2016. Traveled with an evangelistic group for 2 years after college. While I was traveling on that group, my dad is a private school or Christian school principal, and there was a guy from a supplemental company that came in to try to close the account as a client, and my dad said, no, we're not going to offer your insurance, but my son might be looking for a job. Turns out I met with the guy, loved the guy, and was really interested in doing something in sales, but I never really wanted to offer insurance. That was just never something that I wanted to do. The other twist to that whole scenario is that it was 100% commission, and that scared me because keep in mind, I'm a 20-something-year-old young kid, at this point, 1 year out of college, making $150 a month traveling as a traveling evangelist with a team, $150 a week. And, jumping into 100% commission was scary. Furthermore, I just got engaged, and my fiance and I were trying to kind of plan, like, what do we do with our life? Where do we go? So talked to this guy and bought into what he was talking about. Thought I was going to move back to Ohio, where I'm from. Actually thought I was going to move back to the same city that I grew up in, and that ended up not happening. He ended up getting a promotion here in Metro Detroit, Michigan, actually out of Ann Arbor, and asked if I wanted to come with him. So I said, why not? Sure. So I took the 100% commission job, had no business experience. I did go to school for business at a private school in South Carolina. But never any type of long-term career or anything like that yet, because like I said, I was just out of college. Anyway, so my wife and I decided to move here to Michigan. I say my wife and I moved here May of 2018. We were getting married September of 2018. She was still in Virginia, where she's from, and so I had 3 months to try to see if I could make a career in 100% commission actually work. I had 3 months to prove to my wife hey, you can trust me. This is a career that I'm excited about. This is something that I can do. And not only prove to her, but also prove to myself, because like I said, I've never tried anything like that before. So I started with this company June of 2018. And started selling supplemental insurance business to business, and learned a lot in 3 months. But one thing I knew, every morning I woke up, I actually was able to live with my grandma for 3 months to save on rent, because the first month I made no money whatsoever. But I was able to kind of figure out that when you are 100% commission, it's feast or famine. Famine hurts really bad, but the feasts can be really good. And I learned really quickly that this is what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be paid salary. I never wanted to have a cap income. And I learned that I liked having something different to do every day. No day was the same. No rut to get into. So what I did is I went in person. I marketed 100 businesses a week, as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I did maybe 70, sometimes 120, but at least 100 businesses every single week I would go in person to market, tell them what I was doing. And what that taught me was anybody can do sales as long as you put in the work. Because I was bad when I first started. I was bad. I was nervous. I was sweating. I was absolutely petrified. But I had the motivation to get good because my wife was moving to Michigan, and I had to make sure that I was going to be ready for her. So, fast forward 3 months. It's September. It's our wedding month. September 8th is our anniversary. My wife moves up here after our wedding. We go on a short little honeymoon, and I end up making a whopping $300 the first month that we are married. Now, for all you men out there that might be married, or for all you women out there that are married, or that aren't married, either way, that's not a great look. Men, you get married and you tell your spouse, hey, I got this, and then you make $300 your first month, and our rent was obviously more than $300. We were actually living in a basement of somebody's house for the first 6 months of our marriage to get this thing off the ground. Now, my wife, she's amazing, and hopefully I'm going to have her on the podcast. She got a job, and that job was with a staffing company, and that helped us get off the ground, help us pay the bills, help us kind of get started. So remember earlier in the show I said this kind of stuff is either feast or famine. When you're in commission, it can either go really well or it could be really hard. September was a really hard month. I had just been starting. It was 3 months in. Well, the next thing you know, December rolls around. And December was the first month in my career I made over $10,000 in 1 month. That was a good feeling. And that was the first time I was like, it is possible. Like, I know for a fact this is what I want to do. So I had a really good month of December. And then in April of 2019, so the following year, we haven't been married even 6 months yet. A lot of stuff happened. Going into January 2019, I wrote down on a piece of paper, I had one goal. My boss asked me, hey, what's your why? I said, I want to buy a house. I want to get into a house. Didn't think we were going to be able to do it. Didn't have any savings. Didn't have that much because, again, we had just started. But I did just have a good month. Really wanted to get into a house. April of 2019, 2 things happened. Number one, we ended up finding a house. We ended up buying the house. There was a grant that was going on in Michigan that we applied for, we got, and we were able to get some assistance to buy a house. Second thing was I got a promotion to take a management role within the company that I was in. Still 100% commission, but an opportunity to manage and help train some new insurance agents. And the third thing that happened the following month in May, my wife quit her job to come work with me. So in a 6-month span, from September getting married, making $300 a month, 6 months later, not only did we have a house, she quit her job she was miserable at, my wife, and my wife worked with me, and now 6 months later, we were a 100% commission family. No income that we could bank on. Because when I took the role as a manager, I needed help. My business was growing. My wife, her skills fit perfectly, and we took the jump. And boy, this is when the story it gets even crazier. So my wife starts working with me. It was great. We had a great time. She works with me summer, June, July. June, we hit some crazy goals, which was awesome to see. Still scary because when you buy a house and you have a mortgage for the first time and your wife's income stops, it was definitely a growing time for us. And that's when I really got into budgeting. Budgeting, saving, keeping track of every single dollar that went through our bank and where our credit cards and all that kind of stuff. That's when I got really into it, because when you have a job like this, you don't know what you're making 1 month to the next. 1 month could be a great month. 1 month could be a terrible month. And if you're not smart with your money, you can get in trouble real quick. So I got really into budgeting. I really enjoyed it. Really into saving, really into planning. Hey, where do we want our family to be financially? Fast forward a year. Fast forward going into 2020. Going into 2020, my wife started to realize, hey, maybe insurance isn't for her. We enjoyed working together. We actually did a great job working together, but she wanted to maybe potentially think about doing something else. But it was just kind of on the back burner. Well, as you guys know, 2020 was interesting. For us in our business, 2020 started off with a bang. We opened up a huge account, did a lot of sales, got a big paycheck, and I'm like, man, this is the life. I made more money in 1 month in that February that I never thought would be possible. Growing up in a family that loved me, but my parents were never what I'd say, making the big bucks as a private school principal. Good January, February, had some family stuff come up, some big, went to a funeral, things like that. And then everyone knows what happened in March of 2020. That's when COVID hit. And everything went to a screeching halt in March of 2020. You see, with the way my business works is I function in business, like I help companies find benefits, especially on the supplemental side, things like disability, accident, cancer, things like that. And back then, the only thing that we did was work with this supplemental carrier, and my wife worked with me. And all of a sudden, business stopped, just dead stopped. And we went through probably the hardest year and a half of our life. Not only did our business come to a screeching halt, all of Michigan shut down. I'm sure people, wherever you're watching this, you've heard of Michigan being one of the more stricter states when it comes to, like masks and social distancing and shutting down businesses. So all of a sudden, all my clients were shut down. We were shut down. We couldn't go anywhere. And then when I call my clients, they're like, hey, man, even if we want to do some new benefits, like we don't even know if we're going to be open tomorrow. So the last thing they were thinking is what I had to offer them. Year and a half of, I'd say, discouragement, depression, really big struggle in this career. But the one thing that did do was show me that I cannot have all of our family eggs, our income in one basket. Because what was happening, things were going great until a pandemic happened. Then all of a sudden, our whole income and livelihood just stopped. So I talked to my wife. I said, hey, what do you want to do? She said, hey, I don't know, but I've always wanted to do real estate. And I said, let's do it. She's like, no, we need something more consistent. And we actually argued about it. She wanted to get a 9-to-5 job, maybe like a receptionist in the hospital. But I knew that that's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to do real estate. And I said, hey, Anna, I'm going to make sure that you can do what you want. And if you want to do real estate, you should do real estate. So jumping into the end of 2020, all the testing centers were closed. So we had to wait like another 8 months for her to even be able to take the real estate exam. She finally passed the real estate exam, and then it takes about a year to get started in real estate. Throughout this time, slowly, my business was getting better and better and better and better. Slowly. But this is when it gets kind of crazy. I have a friend that sold life insurance. Meanwhile, in 2020, I was having like the worst year of our life as a family. He was having the best year possible helping people find life insurance because obviously when COVID's going around, people are kind of like, I should probably protect my family with some life insurance. People that in the past thought they were invincible, maybe they're not so invincible anymore. So I said, hey, I want to expand. I want to expand what I do past just this one specific thing. So started an agency, LLC, and started getting contracted with carriers. And this is where I'm hoping this channel and this podcast will be able to help a lot of agents because I made a lot of mistakes. First thing I did was I looked online, hey, how do I get contracted easily with life insurance? And first thing you find is all of these, they're called IMOs or FMOs. IMOs mean independent marketing organization, all right? Basically meaning there will be kind of like a middle ground between you and the carrier. So you have your insurance agent, you have the IMO, and that IMO will help you get contracted with a bunch of different carriers. Well, that's perfect for me because I still, my main business still is and was helping businesses find benefits for their employees. But on the side, I wanted to start helping individuals find life insurance, shop around for them, making sure I can get them the best rate, so on and so forth. Joined one, which I will maybe name in a different podcast, different video. Didn't go very well. Commissions were just brutal. And then the person that I love to this day, absolute lovely person, just we didn't see eye and eye in the philosophy of life insurance, of why you should get life insurance. So tried that. There were also some hidden fees. Then found an IMO that I absolutely love, that made sense, and I'm still with to this day. So joined a different IMO, got contracted. Now I'm probably with about 20 different carriers, and I help people find life insurance. And it's something that I really enjoy doing on the side in the evenings. So now all of a sudden I took a step back. Blink, it's 2022, and it's about ready to be 2023. And after being in this career and in this crazy whirlwind of a world for 4 years, I have some things that I've learned. I have some things that, didn't go well, and things that I can maybe help people not make those mistakes if you're an entrepreneur. If you're looking to get into insurance specifically, I have a lot of things that I can share with you to maybe help you with that career. If you're looking for insurance, if you're looking for life insurance, I can give you a lot of do's and don'ts. Be careful who you talk to. Be careful what you're looking into. Be careful of the sales push, things like that. If you're looking to buy a home, I'm going to be hopefully interviewing real estate agents, mortgage brokers. If you're looking for home insurance, I'm going to have a lot of people on the podcast that are local to Michigan, and that I can just ask questions, and you can hopefully, by listening in, tuning into the channel, like I said, whether you're a business entrepreneur or you're just a person, you'll be able to get some insider knowledge on what you should be looking for. And so that's the whole goal of the podcast. That's the whole goal of the YouTube channel, is so if you're an entrepreneur of any type, if you're specifically wanting to get into insurance, or you're just wanting to get into a commission field, I have a lot that I can share with you on that. If you're just someone that wants just an insider look to insurance, or insider look on what you should do if you're starting a family for the first time, what are some important investment decisions that you need to make, I'm going to be inviting a lot of guests that I think will be able to help you with that. So that's our first podcast, probably around 20 minutes, 18 minutes it looks like. I wanted to kind of share a little bit who I am, where we're going, what this podcast is about. And I'll leave you guys with this. We've been growing and growing and growing to the point that I'm excited to share with you what I've learned in my career. Like I said, we just bought a brand new office space in a tall building in Taylor, Michigan. Super grateful for that space to be able to record here, have the team come in here, and keep growing and helping businesses out in Michigan. So I'll leave you guys with this. Number one, we're finishing our website, englandinsuranceGroup.com. Soon you'll be able to go to our website. You'll be able to go watch all of our listen or watch all of our podcasts and videos. You're going to be able to read some things that I'll be writing. You're also going to be able to get a free quote on life insurance. Also be able to just learn about other partners that I have in Michigan that you might be wanting to connect with. If you are a aspiring business owner that is looking for benefits, definitely give me a call. That's why I'm here. And if you want to be on the podcast, if you think that you have something helpful to share and you're a local business owner or a local business professional, or you just have an interesting story, I'm open to having anybody on the podcast here in the Metro Detroit area. So give me a call. My info is in the contact information on the YouTube page. All right, guys, that's it for the first podcast. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you guys later. And if you're new, please subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.